Okay, the new Callaway Rogue ST driver has just been put on the USGA and RNA's conforming list. We are going to take a look at the pictures, the information, and see what this new driver is bringing to the table. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome to the Mobile Club Maker. Happy 2022. I'm AJ, I hope you're having a wonderful day. All right, so let's start out with the lineup. It appears there's going to be three standard sort of models that are going to be available at retail. There are also on the conforming list some of the triple diamond versions listed. The triple diamond or the diamond versions are basically, if you don't know, the tour style heads that you will find usually, well, you'll find them being played by more tour players. The geometry may be a little bit different. The head size may be a little smaller. They've got less bulge and roll, so it's a flatter face, things like that. Usually we'll play a little bit more square to open club face. So those are also on there, but the three basic retail versions, there's going to be a Rogue ST Max, a Max D, and a Max LS. So the easiest way to probably put these in context is the Max is going to be sort of the middle of the road version. The Max D is going to be the draw bias version that's going to have a little more of a closed face, maybe a little more weighting on the heel side to promote more of a draw. And then the Max LS is more of the lower launching, lower spinning version that is ideally designed sort of for better, stronger golfers. The lofts on these are going to be pretty typical, what you see from Callaway, basically going in 1.5 degree increments, 9, 10.5, 12, that sort of basic setup. So let's start looking at some of these images, see what we can pull out of them. Well, first off, obviously the Rogue ST is the continuation or the next generation of the original Rogue line circa 2018. And if you look at the two drivers side by side, you will see they definitely have a similar look to them. So the general profile, the general geometry, I would say, is pretty similar looking overall. Definitely when you look down at the sole, the way that you have all the sort of lines and ridges on it, definitely reminiscent of the original Rogue line. You compare that with the Maverick line or the Epic Speed line, where it was a much smoother soled design. These brought back sort of some of those ridges, some of those lines on there. So it definitely harkens back to that original Rogue look. Okay, one thing you're gonna notice pretty much right away is there is no slider weight system in this Rogue ST driver. Now, if you look back to the original Rogue, again, there you did not have the slider weight system. And Callaway seems to do sort of a year on, year off setup or schedule when it comes to the slider weight system. So the original Rogue, no slider weight, but then the Epic Flash did have the slider weight. Move forward to the Maverick, no slider weight, to the Epic Speed, you had the slider weight, and now we are in 2022, and this is obviously a no slider weight year, so the Rogue ST does not have a slider weight system. Okay, and speaking of weight, the other really big obvious thing on this driver is the big brass looking weight on the back of the head. Now, it is a very large, obvious looking weight. It makes me think it is a more substantial amount of weight. I don't know what the exact weight of it is, but it definitely seems like it's supposed to be prominent and would lead me to believe it's bigger and heavier maybe than what has been there previously. It also has two torque screws in it, you can see in some of the pictures, which tells me that it is interchangeable. Of course, that makes sense. It's hard to imagine any manufacturer making a driver these days that does not have interchangeable weights. Now, that being said, it's hard to say, is that entire block the weight? Will you have to buy a big brass piece if you want to change that weight out? Or is that more of like a covering and maybe there are smaller weights underneath that so that maybe you have a double type of weight system? I could also see that being the case. Hard to say in the picture, but it will be interesting to see. I'm hoping this isn't like what you had with some of the Callaway irons last year, where you had that weight plate on the back of them that you could change out the weight on, but you as a consumer couldn't do it. I don't think you could get those weights, and you couldn't get them aftermarket really. You would have to get them through Callaway, have Callaway install those weights. So again, I would think with drivers where they are now and with every brand having alternate weight options available to the consumer, that will again be the case here, but we will have to wait and see. Okay, also notice, once again, we have the Optifit Hosel, or the Optifit 2 Hosel. I'm not exactly sure what iteration it is, but it does give you the ability to change loft and lie without rotating the shaft at all. So the shaft will not move, the grip will not move. If you have an aligned grip or something like that on there, you don't have to worry about it spinning around. You can make those loft and lie changes and everything basically stays in the same place. So you'll also notice the jailbreak technology there on the sole. Once again, coming back, it's been in a number of drivers now from Callaway for a number of years. The big difference here is they have now switched over to the what appear to be those same velocity blades, the design that they had in the Epic Speed fairway woods last year. So the holes that you see on the bottom are no longer just circular, they're sort of stretched out now. Again, that is the same look that you got in the Epic Speed fairway woods. Again, the idea being, I think it is giving you all the strength, but in less weight. Again, possibly why you have that bigger brass colored weight on the back. We also see the Flash Face SS22 written in the description and on the face of this driver. Last year was the SS21, so this is just sort of the natural progression of that, another AI designed face to give you better ball speeds across more of the face. That's the pitch on that. So maybe the biggest difference with this new driver, if you look down on the sole, on the heel side, you will notice that we have carbon fiber. This is carbon triaxial material that Callaway has been using. It's been in the crown. Last year they added it not only to the crown, but also out on the toe side. And this year it appears it's now on the crown, the toe side, and on the heel side. Again, all these things trying to reduce weight from those areas so they can move it to other places. Again, possibly to that big gold brass colored weight on the back end there. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference you're gonna see in this driver is more carbon fiber being utilized. The last thing really to mention about this driver as far as new things or different things is gonna be, well, Callaway has gone back to a matte paint job. So it is now a gray, dark gray matte finish with the carbon weave sort of showing through on the crown. Reminiscent of some of Callaway's drivers from 2014, 15, 16, kind of. And again, I've seen the pictures in a couple different angles. In some of them, they look more medium gray, and in some they look very dark, dark gray. The medium gray ones I've seen really remind me of the old Callaway X2 hot driver. If you remember that, has a very similar look. In some of the darker finish ones, it really reminded me of the latest offerings or last year's offerings from Cobra, very dark gray finish, which I really like that dark gray finish. Again, this is purely cosmetic. Some people are gonna like the matte, some people like glossy, but this is a difference and it is something Callaway has gone back to this year. Okay, so looking at all this, what do I think about this new driver? I think it's safe to say that this driver is not really gonna be rocking the boat, right? There's nothing really revolutionary going on here. If you've liked Callaway drivers in the past 5, 6 years, I don't see any reason you won't like this driver. I think it's going to be very similar. It's just sort of the natural progression. There's nothing really crazy or different in here that would change anything there. You know, the two biggest differences, again, you've got the carbon fiber triaxial material in the heel, but it's a small amount. I don't see that really making a big difference in the feel or the performance. And again, the other big difference is the paint. You know, we've now got the matte finish instead of the glossy finish. Honestly, whenever I see this sort of change in just sort of the cosmetics, the paint always makes me think that, you know, Callaway's feeling like they don't have a lot going on under the hood that's very different, so they need to change something on the outside to give it a little bit more of a differentiation, give it some sort of little pop. So, you know, whether it was a few years ago when a bunch of different companies started painting their drivers white or going from matte to glossy or glossy to matte, usually just indicates to me that, you know, there's just not that much of a change. We need something to differentiate this, so we're gonna change the paint job. Now, all that being said, there are a couple things I am interested to see. I definitely want to see more about that big block weight in the back. Again, is that weight, is that big piece of copper, brass, whatever it is, the actual weight, or is that more of a cover and maybe there are weight ports underneath it? You know, ideally, in my mind, I would like that to be a weight of some kind, but have adjustable, removable weights underneath it. Hopefully the same weights that Callaway has been using for a few models now. So, you know, if you've already been in the Callaway ecosystem, you already have some of those weights around, you can reuse those weights. You don't need to get an entirely new weighting system. You don't need to buy a whole new weighting system. I think that would be the right thing to do. Whether Callaway is doing that here, we will have to wait and see. The last thing I'm really interested in with this driver is to see the price, because comparing this with the new Taylormade driver that we've already talked about in another video, that Stealth driver with that carbon face technology, I think is definitely going to have a premium price tag. Now, this Callaway driver, definitely a little more traditional, definitely a little bit more plain it's safe. I don't know that you can charge that same premium price that Taylormade probably will for this Callaway driver. Now, Taylormade and Callaway have always sort of gone lockstep as far as pricing goes, at least within, you know, $20 or $30 to stay very, very close to each other. So it'll be interesting to see, because I don't really feel like this Rogue ST driver is the same or is really comparable to the Taylormade driver, at least as far as technology goes. So it'll be interesting to see, does Callaway, you know, just sort of raise the price to match what the Taylormade is, or do they price it at a little bit lower price point? Do I think it'll be a popular driver? I think it'll be pretty popular. Do I think it'll be a good driver? I think if you've liked Callaway drivers in the past, you will like this one. Do I think there's anything really new or revolutionary going on? It doesn't really appear so. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please go down below, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be alerted when I post new videos. I'm on Patreon. If you want to support me there, you can find me at AJ Golf, and I'm also on Instagram, and you can find me there at Mobile Club Maker. We will see you next time. Bye.